Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Longhorn Radio. I'm your host for today, Desi Bonev, and welcome to today's episode, School Strangers. Before we begin, some announcements. Although it isn't Women's Day anymore, Lee would still like to celebrate this month by working with the Toiletry Project by accepting donations for feminine hygiene products and other toiletries that will be taken to women's shelters. Drop off your donations in the bin outside of Lee's room 72, aka the leadership room. If you can't donate, please share this and spread the word. Their username is @toiletry. That's all for announcements, so let's jump right into the episode. Today, we have something super fun planned out for you all and a little different. Today, we're going to get to know some of our Longhorns a little better through a fun tier-organized icebreaker. We have 4 guests today, one from each grade, and they each will try to get to know each other through these questions. The twist is, as we go down the 3 tiers of questions, the questions will be getting deeper, cooler, and we'll be finding out a little more about who these people are. So today, the conversation will be mainly led by our 4 amazing guests, and I'll just be here mediating. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to our freshman, Raina Hong.
Hey guys, I'm Raina Hong. I go by she, her. It's really nice to be here today.
Next up, we have our sophomore, and correct me if I say the name wrong, Vaibhav Shukla.
That's actually perfect. Hi, my
Oh
name is
my
Vaibhav
God.
Shukla. My preferred pronouns are he and him, and it's an honor to be here.
Awesome. Next, we have our junior, Tristan Fritsch.
Hi, I'm Tristan Fritsch, and my pronouns are he, him.
And our returning senior from Longhorn Radio's second episode, Julie Schiefer.
Woo! Okay, hey, I'm Julie. I am a senior. My pronouns are she and her, and I like to party.
Awesome. Reminder that these people do not know each other. They have not met. So today's episode will be an opportunity for them to get to know one another much better. So we're so happy to have you all on board. Thank you so much for coming. Without further ado, let's jump right into the questions. So we're starting off with tier 1. Questions that are not too deep, pretty basic, the kind of questions that you'll most likely present with yourself when someone asks you for a fun fact about yourself. Let's start off with something really easy. Whoever has their answer can just go for it and say it. So let's start off. Do you have any pets? What kind and what are their names?
I have a dog. We rescued her, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Her name is Callie, not after California, but it is a family name. She's a terrier mix, and she is very adorable. Whenever I come home from work, whenever someone comes home from anywhere, she always jumps all over us, which is very fun to do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I've never had any pets. I know my mom had a dog when she was younger and lived in India, but ever since we moved to the US when I was about 1, we've never had any pets, mainly because my parents thought it was a major hassle. And yeah, but if I would want a pet, I would want a cat because I absolutely adore cats.
Me too, me too. I don't have a pet, but I really want a kitten because I actually didn't know I was a cat person because I used to have a cat and she was so mean. Probably because when I was little, I was really mean to her because, like, I was a toddler and I didn't know any better, but I thought I didn't like cats, but when my friend got a kitten, it's so cute. Like, I really want one now, and I always go over to her house because I get to see the kitten.
I don't really have a pet because I don't really like animals that much, but my sister has a Russian hamster named Tori, like Tory Burch. So, yeah.
That went really well. So again, that was just the tier 1, really basic question. Let's go with another tier 1 question before we move on. What is your favorite restaurant? Bonus points if someone names the same restaurant.
I guess I'll start. I don't, I mean, since COVID started, we haven't been around much, but like outside. But if I had to choose, there's a restaurant called Chat Bhavan. It's somewhere in Sunnyvale. Yeah, they serve like really good Indian food. That's actually where I got my inspiration for trying to make Indian food at home. It's a really good place.
I honestly don't even know. I always go to the same exact places to get food. I either go to Milojas, which is right next to Branham. They make Colombian empanadas. Definitely recommend. And I also go to Vitality Bowl a lot to get acai bowls. Mm. Oh, also rest in peace to Outback Steakhouse. I don't know if all of them went out of business, but the one by the prune yard did, and my family always used to go there, so we have so many good memories there. But now it's gone. I lost my
Yeah,
first
I know.
tooth
Oh, go
there.
ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead, you're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I went to the prune yard with a couple friends. I think it was 3 weeks ago, and I noticed that, like, yeah, it's been closed.
Yeah, just like that last part I said, I lost my first tooth at Outback in their bread. Fun fact.
uh, I guess my favorite restaurant I actually haven't been to in a while. We could take out from there all the time. It's called Thai Spice in I think downtown San Jose. I've celebrated a few anniversaries there, and the takeout is really good. It's my sick food. Um, but I have to say, right now, the restaurant I go to most is called Baja Fresh. It's like a fast food and Mexican, but it's actual Mexican food, not Taco Bell. And I go there for lunch on my lunch breaks.
Mm. I mean, like, what would you consider a restaurant in this case? I mean, like, you could say, because the only, I guess, food place that I go to would be Domino's, if you would consider that a restaurant, because Domino's Pizza that it is, because I don't know, I guess I like the pizza there.
I think uh, a restaurant would be just well, I'm thinking before COVID because these are all like actual places with establishments and everything, and they're opening up soon because of Red Tier, which is nice.
My favorite restaurant would probably I really like burgers. So I guess any like burger restaurant there is, like McDonald's and stuff.
Okay, sounds good. So that was again pretty basic. And looking at the time, I think we should move on to tier two already. So let's see. What is your greatest accomplishment so far? It's I know a lot of people don't like to answer this question. They feel like they're bragging, but you can take a moment to say something that you think you've done that's pretty cool that you want to share.
I can't think of a lot right at the moment, but I learned how to play guitar, and from there on, like, I learned how to play acoustic first, and then I got a ukulele with my first paycheck, so I learned how to play that. And then my dad gave me his electric guitar, so I learned how to play that. And then I learned how to play bass guitar. So I can only go up from here, and I really like playing music, so pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that's really cool. We have a guitar. I used to play ukulele in middle school as like an assignment class thing, but I kind of lost interest. But it's really cool to see that you have like pretty much like a passion in it. As for me, I'd say probably my greatest achievement so far would be, starting up the official Lee server. Yeah, I just made it for fun, and then I guess my friends and I decided to take it to the next level. And next thing you know, the school actually officially accepted us in to their entire resources thing. So that made me feel very accomplished.
Such a good idea. I'm proud of you for that, dude. That's so good.
Yeah, I only
Yeah,
recently got involved on that server, but it looks like a cool community. The people there are fun.
That's actually really cool. I never knew that. My greatest accomplishment would be probably like drawing the design for my school T-shirt in middle school in eighth grade. I'm not really confident about my art, but it was really pretty cool when it actually got chosen.
Wish I was good at art. I've always wanted to get into that. Oh, and then I just thought of two things. I can't believe I didn't remember this because it literally just happened like today. But I'm a part of the top 20 homecoming court, which is like insane.
what is that? I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. It's how do I explain it? So every year we have a homecoming dance and we have this thing called homecoming court where the seniors get to vote for two people in their class. Or sorry, not two people. Well, eventually two people in their class that they want to elect as we used to do like king and queen, but we just changed it to I forget what the name of it is. It's basically just the court and we start with 20 people and then we narrow it down to like 10 and then eventually we have our winners, but I don't even care about winning. Obviously, I was just really surprised to hear that I was in top 20. It's crazy.
Well, that's impressive.
Thank you.
Answered really well, guys. You guys are doing great. So let's shift it over to another question really quick. This one should be answered pretty easily. What color describes you best, and why? But a short why.
Asked my friends this because it's a trend. And well, I actually ask what color my aura is because I feel like that's accurate. And they always say yellow, which makes me happy because yellow is a happy color.
I'm not really sure like how other people see me, but I like to think that blue represents me. Um, it's been my favorite color for basically forever, and I grew up a lot on water, so it's always been a part of my life. And I'm wearing all blue right now, so that too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I haven't taken much thought to like think about a color that would describe me. My favorite color has always been green, but that actually came from my dad. Recently, I've been liking darker colors, like actually, I think currently green and black are tied. I just generally like wearing darker colors, but I do not think that's necessarily reflecting my personality. I think that just goes with my looks better than like me vibrating. I think if I had to describe a color, it would be a little bit more on the bright side because that's what a lot of people um well, that's what a lot of people associate with me with. Sorry about that.
Um, I wouldn't know what color, but I asked my friend and she said like magenta. Like I don't know how that describes me. I don't even know, but apparently that's what she says. Yeah.
I can see you as a magenta person.
Yeah, the same way we like to like describe subjects with colors. I don't know if you guys have seen people try and debate about what color math is. It's red, by the way. But I feel like that's the same kind of question that we're talking about right now. What kind of color represents your personality and stuff? It's a hard one, though. It is. Let's move on to one before we get to tier three. And this one's a little bit weirder than the last few because so far I've just been asking you all questions about some opinions that you've had about yourself, about your life. So if you don't really know an answer to this question, totally fine, but let's see who does. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? Think about it for a bit.
I feel like I go in the ocean all the time, and even though I'm on the swim team, I feel like I might drown, which is so scary. I feel like that's the worst way to die. But the only reason I think that it's not like a weird hunch, but the only reason I think that is because I go in the ocean so much and I go surfing, so I feel like somehow I might die in the ocean.
I feel like I'm going to not like disappear. Well, yeah, that's a good word for it. Disappear off into the wilderness because I love the outdoors. I love to hike, and I want to do something in the outdoors for my career, either like a park ranger or an outdoor scientist or something. Um, and I have a hunch that sometime I'm going to go on a hike and I'm not going to come back, or I'm going to like just live out in the woods forever and then slowly fade away. But that just might be wishful thinking.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, as for me, I don't know, I've been like pretty clumsy my life. I think in 7th grade it was I got my retainer. I think like near the end of 7th grade, I accidentally somehow ended up almost choking to death on it. It's kind of weird. But I've had like a lot of other experiences. Like I've slipped into a pool and almost drowned. So I think it's gonna be more of an accident. I want to die old in like a hospital bed. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but if I had to say there's a hunch, I'd probably say it would be because of some sort of accident that takes place.
You know, that thing
Interesting. Go
that
ahead. Go
that thing
ahead.
that that thing with the rotator actually happened to my dad when he was a teenager. Um, and he actually stopped wearing his rotator after that, and he regrets it because his teeth aren't the best. But that just reminded me of that story. He choked on his retainer.
Mm. Yeah, it's a very scary experience. Like, yeah, nobody should ever go through that. So just it's more important to stay careful. That's what I learned.
Sounds good. Yeah, sorry for the weird question, but it's about to get even weirder because we're going to tier three. Or maybe not weirder, but deeper for sure. So let's start it off with something that very general question. What is your biggest fear?
I know this one. Okay, so a bit of backstory. Let's see. So recently, like I'd say eighth grade, I started getting into more horror games and stuff. So my first introduction to that was Doki Doki Literature Club. Don't know if anybody played that game. Yeah, it got kind of creepy near the end, and I enjoyed it for the most part. So then I move on to the Five Nights at Freddy's series, and it got really deep. I think there's a lot of games. Recently, in ninth grade, I watched a playthrough of the VR version, and I've seen so many videos on it that now, like, if somebody mentions something like that, like, I just get scared of the dark. I know that's a fear that like a lot of people have, but like a lot of people also say is like a bit childish, and I might agree like to an extent, but yeah, after watching so many videos, I get like scared of being in the dark or like in a low lit area where there's nobody else.
Enough trauma?
Yeah, you could say that. It does get quite scary sometimes though.
Understandable, understandable. Anyone else?
I don't really have like one big fear that's always like present in my life. But right now, I'm most afraid of bringing COVID home because I have a job at Ace Hardware, um, and I'm interacting with strangers and everything, and I don't want to like just be careless and bring it home and get people infected. So that's what I've been most afraid of recently.
So much respect for you for that. Thank you for wanting to be careful. Yeah, I have the same fear.
Yeah, and like that's kind of like very, very understandable, right? Because COVID's really dangerous. We haven't developed like fully working vaccines for all of its strands, like variations and stuff. So yeah, ever since my dad left 2 weeks ago for India, my mom actually hasn't let me go outside or my sister, like outside our house. We can go in our backyard. Actually, recently we can't even go into our backyard because there's a bee hive that's been building up in the lemon tree. That's not the point though, right? But she's scared that something might happen, and she doesn't want anything to happen because like my dad's gone to India because my grandpa has heart surgery that needs to take place. So yeah, she's been really careful. So I could like completely understand that.
Hope your grandpa's surgery goes well.
Yeah, I think it already happened. We chatted on the phone today. It was successful. He's starting to go through therapy.
Yay. That's
Great
good.
to hear. Reina, any fears you wanted to share before we move on?
My fears are kind of like sensitive topics, so I won't really go deep into that. But I think it'll probably be like death, which is probably a common one, and like rejection. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we mentioned COVID. A lot of people are scared of that right now. It's actually, I think, a year anniversary of being in quarantine today. So I think the official stay-at-home order is going to be was called on March 14th. So tomorrow will be the year anniversary. But yeah, very true, very real fears. But moving on to something else, something a little bit more interesting. or a little bit more lighthearted at least. Would you like to be famous, and in what way?
I would
I was
not.
actually. You go.
No, I would not.
Julie's just like, no, period. That's it. No.
Okay.
Tristan, go ahead.
Well, I was thinking about this recently, and like someone asked me, would you rather everyone know your name or everyone know your face? And I
Oh.
would like to be famous, but like I don't know how. Either like a published author, but I can't write. I don't like to write. Or like a environmental activist, but I don't like lobbying. So I'm not sure how I want to be famous. So I'd like to be. I'd like to have my name known in at least some niche topic.
So what you're saying is you want the fame, but depends in the category.
Yes, I like maybe being a politician would be cool, but then again, politicians don't have the best reputation. So, like, if I was famous within like the Boy Scouts or something, or CSF, which I'm part of right now, that'd be cool. But not everything. I'm not sure, but something that I value, I'd like to be known in.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that applies to like many people as well. As for me, I recently started a YouTube channel because I like gaming. Might as well share it with the world. And I was thinking about it recently, like, yeah, in the chance something happens and I start to become famous, like, would I want to continue doing this? And I think that it would depend on the route that my channel takes, or the route that my fame will take as I continue living on in life, because I don't want to be known for any bad things, right? Because that just ruins your life.
Very
Yeah.
valid. Raina, again, do you have anything in mind for this idea, for this question? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I would like to be famous. Again, it depends on like the category and stuff. So like one of my dreams is to become an actress. So like I want to be known as for my talents or whatever I'm good at.
Interesting. That's awesome. Fame is a really interesting topic just to talk about because there's a huge appeal to be famous, no matter who you are. Everyone wants the attention. So interesting. We have kind of a mixed crowd here. Some people say no, some people say maybe. Let's see if we can answer the next question in our tier 3. We are coming to an end, but we still have more. Let's see. What's a piece of advice that you think about often? I'm gonna assume that a few of you need to think about this for a second, unless anyone has something to say right now.
I'm so ready. Ready.
Oh, go ahead, Julie. We're all ready for you. Go ahead.
YOLO.
That's it?
Yeah, just YOLO. That is my life motto. That's it.
Anyone else?
I really like that. YOLO. Mine would be just not to really care about what people say about you. Like it most matters what you think about yourself.
Hmm. It's like an extension of YOLO.
Yeah, a piece of advice that my dad's told me often is that too much of anything is poison, right? I think about that often, considering the fact that studying because of high school, you want to get into a good college if you're planning to go into college, but you also want time to do other things. But there should be some sort of balance between whatever you're doing. That's really important because that not only keeps you motivated to keep going on the less enjoyable things like school. Maybe that's enjoyable. Some cases it's not, and it also allows you to have the most fun as much fun as possible, right? Because as you go further in life, you're gonna have less time to do this stuff, but that doesn't mean that you should do everything now and then have absolutely no time to do anything in the future, right? So everything should be taken in precaution.
Retweet. Yes, that's such a smart thing to remember. And I'm glad that you think about it often. I hope other people do too. We're gonna end this up soon, but Tristan, do you have anything to add?
I don't have one advice that always well same I'm rambling. Let's see. Well, one of my favorite song lyrics is from a song in the by the band Yes, and it's "Don't surround yourself with yourself." Um, and I try to incorporate that. Like, don't always be focused on yourself. Look around at others, and don't like collapse in on yourself whenever you have problems. Reach out and don't just be your own. Don't be an island, basically.
Interesting. I love that. I love that. Did not expect you guys to give such great advice. Unfortunately, we are coming to the end of the episode, but I did want to ask one last question to everyone here before we end. And this one's going to be a little bit tricky for you guys because I'm going to have to ask you guys to do something. What's one cool thing you learned about each person today? Obviously, if we had a little more time, we could get to know each other well. But I feel like in the last 25 minutes, we've discussed some pretty cool facts about ourselves. So, one by one, unmute yourselves and talk about something you learned from each person. Julie, you want to? We can start with you.
Yay! I was hoping you'd say that because I already had something in mind. I learned that I love all of you, each and every one of you, because you're so easy to talk to, and I just feel safe saying whatever I want with you guys, which I really appreciate. And not everyone is like that. So thank you very much. You guys are the best. And to add on to that, I learned that all grades are basically the same. Like, just because you're a freshman doesn't mean that you can't be friends with a senior or whatever. All grades act the same in a way. So if you're nervous about that, like going back to school, don't be, because everyone is around the same age and we all like and dislike different things.
I love that kind of conclusion. What about some fun facts? I was leaning towards that kind of question. Some fun facts that you learned about one another.
Well, with what Julie just said, it feels hard to live up to that. But I guess some fun facts I learned was that Reina wants to be an actress, which I applaud. I used to do theater, and it was one of the best like groups I was a part of. Um, and then I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong. Gosh, I see you in Discord all the time, but I forget your
Do you
name.
need help?
Yes, please.
So it's like saying vibe, right? And then just adding an AV at the end, so vibe of.
Vibe off. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
perfect.
cool. Well, I learned that you're really proud of your Discord, which you should be. It's a really cool server. And then I learned that Julie is a really cool person and has a lot of cool things to say about us and herself.
Thank you.
What about you? What are some cool things you learned about everyone else here today?
Me?
Yes.
I guess I'll go. I learned that people are still taking jobs, like high schoolers are still taking jobs during COVID, and yeah, that makes perfect sense. I just didn't put a lot of thought into it because I wasn't the one. I'm not currently in a job, so I never really stopped to think about it, and I really appreciate the fact that people are still working because that keeps our community going, it keeps our economy running, and yeah, it's really cool, and I have major respect for whoever goes out there and still works.
Exactly. Period. Perfect. Reina, let's end with you.
It was really fun talking with everyone today. Some facts that I learned that Julie's aura, like personal color was yellow, and I think that really describes her. Um, and then that Tristan had a job, which is really cool, especially during this hard time. It must be hard to go out and work, which is really good. And then I'm gonna totally bomb this, but vibe off.
Well,
Made
like
this.
you're getting it right.
Yeah, thank you. He made the school server, which is really cool. Like I never knew that, but definitely gonna go join that.
I'm so glad that you all could share something. You guys made some great points. Unfortunately, we're going to end it off here for today. But before we send you off, don't forget to follow the family Instagram account for lean news and more podcast updates. And guess what? You can be a future guest and join us to discuss a topic of your choice by filling out the form linked in the family Instagram bio. If you're part of a club, you can come advertise that and talk about it. If you're part of some team, sports, we're open to absolutely anything. If you want to participate in one of these discussions in the future, make sure to fill out that form and let us know because we might do that again. But overall, thank you guys for tuning into Longhorn Radio. Thank you all for being here. This is Desi signing out.